people always say they still have come for a desire to win games. Sometimes they have to show up. I think the players more than anything showed it with how they finished the last 10 minutes and how they changed on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, any questions I would ask the old fellas, you know, had we the battle for it, had we the heart for it? Because that's what that game turned into in the end. You know, there was mistakes galore. I mean, out there in the middle of the field near the end, David won a great turnover. Then we gave it straight back to the boys. Then we won it back again. You know, that kind of thing. So there were huge mistakes, but by God, was there some honesty in that, and some honesty by the players. Honesty of effort was incredible. And as I said, hats off to Derry. They put in some performance today, so it really meant that we had to give everything to get over the line.
Jack, the subs, Stephen Ryan in particular, I think, you know, I mean, it's always a 20-man game at this stage, but I think the Kerry subs really carried you across that time, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely, and Brian Begley even gave us great momentum coming out of defence. So all the subs contributed, and Stephen kicked a great score with his left foot. I don't know why he threw the left, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that one to go over, but it was a critical score at the time, and it just gave us a bit of a foothold and allowed us to, you know, to drop back a bit and play on the break for the last 5 minutes.
Jack, what were your thoughts during that? I think it was an 18-minute spell where you went scoreless right up until the Sean O'Shea free. And there seemed to be like great going frustration and Kerry players on the pitch as well. Some of the misses will happen. What were your thoughts on that phase?
Well, Derry are tough not to crack. I mean, they're not easily penetrated. They have that, you know, structured set defence. They have it fairly down to a T. So we had to be incredibly patient. I thought, you know, we made plenty of mistakes in the game, no question about it. We made loads of mistakes. We forced it a bit at times. I remember a few balls were kicked in, they overshot the runway and went harmlessly wide. But I think that was coming from the fact that Derry were a tough nut to crack, very tough. So hats off to our fellas, they found a way. They made mistakes, they kept at it, found a way.
Jack, did they surprise you at all with their approach in the first half? They were more attacking than they had been, certainly in Ulster. Was that approach?
Well, we were expecting that they'd try to get goals, because I think that's big part of their game plan, is try and get ahead of you and then play you on the break a bit. But they have an awful lot of good footballers. I've been saying that consistently for the last while. They have a pile of good footballers, lads who get on any team in the country. So, I mean, standard football in Derry is high. You saw Lynn getting to the All-Ireland club final. You know, very unlucky not to win it. The Miners who won the championship. That clubs are consistently competitive in Ulster, and they have some top-class footballers, and they have a system, a defensive system that's extremely difficult to break down. So they were as good, if not better, than we expected. You know.
And the bit, like the last 5 minutes, that press up on the Derry kick-out, he obviously had worked on that.
Well, look, we had nothing to lose at half time. We felt that we weren't going after the game in the first half, and you know, we took a few chances in the second half. There was no such thing as a sweeper. There was no such thing as extra men back. It was man on man. We put pressure, a bit more pressure on Derry in the middle third of the pitch, and I think that was key.
Jack, I appreciate, you know, just as the seventh today, but just your initial thoughts on being back here in 2 weeks' time against Dublin. We hear yesterday, Stephen?
No, I wasn't. No, I was keeping my head down and preparing for today. Look, we're in the final, and that's all I can say about it at the moment. At least we're there. We have a chance. Dublin obviously would be a different challenge the next day, but for today's performance was good enough. But we may need to tidy up a few things for the final.
Jack, I know we almost expected of David Clifford, but another exceptional performance.
That was an incredible second half performance, particularly in the second half. It was like he was that he was willing the team, you know, with the way he played in the second half, that he was willing the team to get over the line. I thought it was an incredible second half performance. And And this is, you know, this is a man that's playing under pressure with all the expectation on him, double, triple marked. He still finds a way, so hats off to him. What a great performance.
Jack, I suppose the two goalkeepers, they both got on the scoreboard. Obviously Shane made a massive save as well. I suppose it probably graphic illustration of which the games has changed in terms of what the two of them out the pitch as much as behind the post.
The one day I was glad. I think we got 2 or 3 blockdowns on their goalie though, which was important. Like he was lining up, and Shane's score there when he came out was and drove up the field was inspirational, and we needed all that. We needed leaders today, and thankfully we had enough of them to get the result.
Jack, you made the distinction there about David's second half performance as compared to his first half. What did you see in the second half? I'm not saying he was poor in the first half. Nothing but that, because he scored freely and he was giving fierce trouble to our man Christie. But it was just the fact that he came out the field in the last quarter of an hour, and he was back in his own full back line, and he was just doing things that I've never seen him doing before. You know, absolutely winning ball inside his own square, stuff like that. It was almost like he said, whatever happens, we're not going to be beaten today. So that's what I was referring to, you know. And not saying he was slack in the first half or anything like that. I know that wasn't saying that, but that's him taking it upon himself to go back.
Absolutely, Jesus, because you can't get a word in out there anyway. It's a desperate situation. You're trying to get messages in, you're wasting your time, and then you have linesmen yahooing at you if you put your toe over the line. You know, it's something that has to be tidied up long term, lads, because it can't go on. I mean, Jesus, you should be able to get a message onto the field. I mean, Christ, you're helpless, you know. If you're trying to make a switch even, you know, it's very, very difficult. And then you have to try to think of other clandestine plans to get messages in, you know. So I think the GA should tidy that up. Have a certain amount of incursions on the field per half. 2 or 3 per half. Surely to God they can allow that, you know. It's not fair, I mean, with the effort that's been put in nowadays. You're in front of that crowd. You can't hear somebody from here to the door. Coaches should be able to get messages in. And I know it was abused in the past, but allow 3 per half, 3 to 4 per half. After that, then, you know, that wouldn't be any stain on the game.
Jack, when Graham Sullivan put the ball wide when Tony Brosnan hit the post, were you worried then?
I was worried until McQuillan blew the whistle. So I was worried at plenty stages during that game. Jesus, there was times then we went down the field near the end, and all we needed to do was kill the ball, and you felt that the referee might blow, and we were knocked. There was a ball knocked into the goalie. There was another one that someone tried to pass across and it was intercepted, and you said, Jesus, wouldn't you just kick it wide, like, you know, at least then you could regroup, because the last thing you want to do with Derry is give them a counter-attack score, you know. So yeah, I was worried plenty of times, yeah.
Jack, what message would you want to get on? 5 minutes to go, and I think still a point behind. What would you want to say to your players?
Were we a point down with 5 minutes to go, were we? Jesus. I'd have to look back at it because it was so intense that it's hard to know. Well, yeah, okay, well, with the amount of time he played, I suppose there was 12 minutes to go. But it was put heat on the kick out. We had to put heat on his kick out. We had to win a couple of his kick outs. That was the only way we were going to get momentum. Because if Derry got it off short, you won't see that ball again for 3-4 minutes. So that's what we were trying to do, to get them contest, to make it a contest. I remember that one that went out high over the midfield and Ty Marley won it. I felt at that stage the tide was starting to turn. And hats off to Jason McGahan and Arthur Fitzgerald for how we finished the game stronger, you know.
Jack, was that biggest challenge all day in terms of their kick-outs and the fact that Lynch inevitably ended up with the ball and brought it out? Inevitably he was the extra man right through for most of that game. Was that the hardest thing to try and do?
Well, it was, and the key then is get the balance between putting a bit of heat on him and backing off him, because if you put heat on him too early, he tips it over your head and have an extra man gone up the field and you're out of the game. So just getting that balance right. We wanted to put a bit of pressure on him, but not not in a situation where he could just slip it and draw a man and slip it, you know. So, yeah, it's a pretty effective tactic for him, but I'm glad that we got a few block downs on him there in the second half when it looked like he was pulling the trigger again, you know.
Last question, folks.
Jack, how much how much of an improvement do you think you need to win the All-Ireland based on that performance there tonight?
I'm not too sure now, Frank, but you know, I haven't reflected on it, or I haven't seen it back, obviously, but we made a lot of mistakes. We made plenty of mistakes. I feel the game will bring us on. It was a very intense game, really intense game. I feel that the fact that we used that our panel contributed will help us, will help training, and will put us back on training the next couple of weeks. But I do feel we need to improve. I mean, it's very obvious that Dublin team have been gearing up for 2 weeks' time, from well back. They brought back the cavalry, that even brought back Pat Gilroy, so they didn't bring the Australs back for the crack, you know.